everybody, and welcome back to another episode of Andrew Discusses, the fun-filled video here on the internet where I talk about stuff and try to get a discussion going with you, the viewers. Okay, that could work. I don't know, I'm still trying to find an intro for this. But anyway, today I want to talk about what the future holds, possibly anyway, for Power Rangers. Yes, I know. Andrew, you're talking about Power Rangers, that's kid-related, you're gonna get COPA striked. Give me a moment. I really want to know what Hasbro's gonna fucking do with this show. There, now I don't have to worry about it. Yeah, no, I mean, I'm serious here, though. Recently somebody had put up a couple tweets on Twitter. One of them really got my attention. I thought about this as an idea for if I would ever be in charge of a Power Rangers series. And it would be one where you'd have basically you have a group of Rangers, and I would either take ToeCougar or really, you know, it would either be ToeCougar or a Kyuranger, and it'd be either of those two, and basically have it be more like a dimension type of deal. I'd probably go with a ToeCougar. That would probably work out better. But anyway, one of the parts that I found interesting in one of the tweets was somebody put up a picture of RJ from Power Rangers Jungle Fury in his pizzeria, which was called Jungle Karma Pizza. Now, if I don't know about you, but I love pizza. Yeah, I think it's safe to say that I love pizza. I think it's safe to assume that I love pizza. I love pizza! Alright, I'll stop. But I love that. Okay, but basically, one of the things was I made a comment that it'd be really cool if there was a Power Ranger series where one of the characters, it could be a ranger or something, was just sitting somewhere eating some Jungle Karma pizza and going, man, nothing beats Jungle Karma pizza. And the person replied back with, yeah, but with the way that they've basically made the dimensions and stuff like that, since they've made it that each season is now basically set in its own dimension, which does make sense. It'd be kind of difficult, but you can use the dimension gun, travel there, just abuse it to get yourself some of the world's best pizza. But what would be a kicker, though, would have like another character come in and go, what are you doing? Eating pizza? Where'd you get that? Jungle Fury dimension. You know you can't use the dimension portal all the time for personal gain. Have you tried this pizza? Then it's like the shot just would go to the two of them sitting there eating a slice. It's like, you know, you're right. This is good pizza. I know. I'm sorry. That would be something unique. But that's sort of my question, though, as to where is Power Rangers going anymore at this point. I mean, Power Rangers has been around since the 90s. We have had so many adaptations. There was the dark times when Disney owned them. May we all remember those moments. Some good, some bad, some horrible. But we will never forget when Disney owned Power Rangers and just flat out fucked it to hell. I'm sorry. I don't mean to sound ungrateful or anything, but I am. Disney sort of tried to ruin Power Rangers, and they almost succeeded. But with Power Rangers, I'm more concerned the dimension or the direction that it's going. Well, both actually, the dimension and the direction. With a lot of the seasons taking place in their own dimensions, which is a cool concept, by the way, I'm not going to lie, because then that gives you the prospect for future team-ups and bringing back older characters that would be interested in reprising their roles. Like, you could pull back David Yost, who played Billy, if he'd be willing to come back, because if you ever know history of Power Rangers, you'll know why he left. So I don't know if he'd be willing to return or not. You could bring back Amy Jo Johnson. What was the guy that played Zach? Was it Walter something? I don't even remember the name of the guy that played Zach. He might want to come back. I know Austin St. John's returning, and everybody's up in arms about that because he's coming back. It's so great. But here's the thing. He's coming back because the footage they're using is from a movie. if you look at the Japanese footage that they're taking this from and some of the plots in that, it's from that. So of course his character is going to be there. The red Zyuranger was featured in that. Him and the red Abaranger. They were featured. Duh. But anyway, so you have that. But the fact that we could get so many of the former cast members to come back if they'd be willing to really opens up the gates because of this being in different dimensions. And like I said, you could have the fact that, hey, maybe one of them went to another dimension to help the Rangers there because, you know, they felt they needed the help, or they were heavily inexperienced to handle the problems of that dimension, and they're sent out, you know, as part of a, you know, elite Ranger team that goes out to help them. And they have a special, you know, like the Master Morpher in a way, that'll allow them to tap into their powers from their own dimension inside this other one, which would be a unique idea. And they're not the de facto leader, but more of like the mentor in a way, where, look, they'll help guide them, but they're not going to flat out do 90% of the stuff for you. That would be a cool idea, but at the same time, it wouldn't work out the way you would hope. But what worries me more is that, and first off, I have finally caught an episode of Beast Morphers, in parts, mind you, because that's how I saw it on YouTube, but I did catch an episode. It has improved since my rant video. And keep in mind, that was like a couple years ago, and it was only like maybe a month old by the time I had put that out. So, you know, it is what it is. It was an old video at this point. I'm not going to go through and delete old videos just because, you know, the show got better. Learn from the past to prevent a future screw-up. The more you know, right? Yeah. But, anyway, with the show, what worries me now is that because we're reaching the point where I don't know how much longer the Sentai series is going to hold out. I mean, eventually Power Rangers is going to end. All good things will have to come to an end at some point. I just don't want it to end prematurely and basically rob people of the chance to experience what Power Rangers actually is. A lot of people will always sit down and think Power Rangers is nothing more than, you know, people beating the crap out of each other. And there was an entire group of parents in the 90s that were all against it, saying that, oh, you know, my son Timmy basically went and tried to, you know, land on top of his younger sibling because he watched Power Rangers do it. To which 90% of the people could point to professional wrestling, like at the time it was the WWF, but now the WWE, and could point to that and go, no, I'm pretty sure Timmy watched that. And that's what Timmy's imitating, based off of how you explained it. Like, he jumped off, had his elbow extended, and was going to come down on the sibling that was laying on the floor. Yeah, that's more of that than it is Power Rangers. Power Rangers is more kicks and punches. That's a flying elbow drop. That's, yeah, that's more wrestling. But, yeah, so there is that. But with Power Rangers, what worries me is that we're going to get to the apex faster than we should. Mostly because either people are going to be too annoyed at the fact they keep bringing back the older team members to do battles for them. I like the idea of having them come back as like a mentor figure that doesn't fight all the time. Maybe if the situation calls for it or they're in dire need, they have like maybe one or two transformations that they can do with the power that they have in their morpher. So they're not battling all the time. There's like one or two battles basically, and that be it. And, you know, have them be more of the mentor role like they need to be, versus the actual, here, let me get involved in this and start attacking them for you and doing 90% of the work. There is that, but at the same time, we're also running the risk of we're gonna run out of ideas for this. I mean, the idea we have now for Beast Morphers isn't bad anymore, versus how weird it seems. It's just and keep in mind, they are taking the adaptation from Go Busters, so Go Busters was already limp into the barn as it was. They were following the 35th Super Sentai series, which was Gokaiger. Gokaiger basically blew everything out of the water. It basically broke the mold and reset the standards for what the Sentai heroes had to be. And when Go Busters came along, it was just like, oh, yeah, this isn't as exciting. And I can agree with them that Go Busters kind of limped to the barn. I'm sorry, I can agree with them on it. They did, in a way. They limped to the barn. They didn't really bring much to the table that we hadn't seen in previous Sentai series. Gokaigers actually brought something unique. Go Busters was just meh. Okay, what else you got? But yeah, so that's one of the things that worries me, is that the Power Ranger series is running into the same issue, where it's like, here, we're gonna have this really cool season, and then we're back to this again. Or because it's on Nickelodeon and their arbitrary rule of everything having to be split into two, because it can only be X amount of episodes long. Yeah, look at your damn SpongeBob series and then tell me about long-ass episode seasons, you sons of bitches. I'm sorry, I get annoyed with Nickelodeon. But you have that, and with Nickelodeon's ruling, it does make it difficult for them to make decent seasons. Now, yes, Dino Charge started off well. I will not deny that. It was an homage back to old school. I loved it. You have... I'm going to give Samurai a pass, because in all honesty, I seriously think, and I don't deny this, this is my honest opinion on this, that Haim Saban was basically pitched the show to Nickelodeon. Nickelodeon said, hey, that'll work out great. We'll give you a year to pan out everything, get it all settled, straightened away, and everything else. You got a year's time. Don't worry about it. Take your time. I think what happened is that Nickelodeon had other shows in mind for the time slot, and those other shows fell through. Either funding fell through, or the actors or the voice actors fell through, or the producers quit, or Nickelodeon dropped the show because the test audience didn't like it. And then all of a sudden it's like, oh crap, we need another show. And they probably looked at Saban and said, hey, look, remember when we said you had a year? We really hate to do this, but you got like 6 months, maybe not even that, to get a show ready to go. That would explain why, for Samurai, it didn't start off with episode 1. Because episode 1 was nowhere near done yet at that point then. That's why we probably got it late. That's why we got it later on. At least that's my guess anyway, is because of that. So that would make sense. Because they were told, hey, look, you have this amount of months to get everything done. They may have had some of the stuff filmed for a second or like a third, fourth, and fifth episode until they could hammer out all the details that they needed to get for episode 1 to be shot. Because, hey, look, we may have had some issues getting, like, let's say, permits to, like, film certain parts. Okay. Or they ran into an issue with the editing software or something, and they couldn't get it fixed. Or the cameras gave issues, and they only had, like, maybe 2 or 3 of them for X amount of weeks or something. And all of a sudden, it's like, well, look, we'll do what we can with what we can. So what they'll do is they'll skip ahead to, like, another episode or something. And that was sadly the sequential order that we got. Yeah, that's why I'm giving them a pass on that. Because I think Samurai got screwed in more ways than we know of, and we just don't know all the details of it. But Megaforce and Super Megaforce don't get that same luxury. They really fucked the pooch on that one, and I think that's why they made Dino Charge better. But then when you get into what the future holds for them, now that we're in Beast Morphers, I'm more scratching my head as to what they're going to go with next. Because we only have Tokuger and Rusager, or Rusoldier, I think. No, not Rusoldier. Well, no, actually, we do have that one. We have Rusoldier, and we also have Koruger. We have that one, too. So, Koruger, Yeah, I think, yeah. Well, okay, we have the one with the constellations. We have Tokuger, I know that one, and Rue Soldier, which I swear to everything is just a sequel series to, oh, that would be Koruger. Yeah, okay. That was like, yo, Q Ranger, that's what it was, Q Ranger, okay. So, Tokuger, Q Ranger, or Rue Soldier are the only three right now that we have left to adapt in the Power Rangers franchises. Unless, of course, Hasbro's going to dip into the Saban library and go, hey, could we possibly get our hands on one of your older ones, give it a fresher coat of paint, and put that up as a thing and buy ourselves some time here? Which I don't think Hasbro would do, but it's an idea, though. That also opens up the floodgates where, thanks to Megaforce, we really can't get any of the older ones now as Power Rangers series, any of the pre-Mighty Morphin era as standalone Ranger series, because they established them as Alien Rangers. Now, while we could get one, and with everything being set in its own dimension, it could make sense that it would work. I don't see Hasbro fitting the money for that. If they did, Jetman would be good, but it'd be dark, but it'd be good. Live Man and Mask Man, definitely. I would definitely go with Live Man and Mask Man, but they would have to upgrade the mechs, because the mechs would be a dead giveaway at the age of the series, and how, dated they would be then. Of course, that wouldn't be too difficult for Hasbro to do. Just take liberties with it, and they would be able to do that, having the creative license, if they would be able to get that. So that's an idea, but I don't know if they would be 100% game for that. But then there's also the concept of, what do we do with the last 3 seasons that weren't adapted yet? Like I said, Tokuger, Q Ranger, and Rue Soldier. I think the train one would work really well. Same plot style would work, but I don't know how they would do it here in the U.S. For the other 2, Constellation one's dead ass easy, and that would work out really well with the dimensions of having each. That's literally one you can make as an anniversary thing. Oh no, there's also Zoogers. We have 4 of them. I forgot about Zoogers. I just thought of Zooger when I said anniversary. We actually have 4 of them. There's Tokuger, Zooger, Q Ranger, and Rue Soldier. So there's 4 yet we have to adapt. Okay, so the whole dimension thing could definitely work then for Zooger. That would work, because that was basically a parallel dimension in itself. That would definitely work out then. That would work out. My idea would work out really well then. That little comment that I made, that would work out really well. But we have just so many ideas. Like I said, the Constellation one could just be pulling Rangers from the past, like past teams, to come together to face a great threat. Or, hey, here, like, have, I don't know, Andros or somebody else from one of the Galaxy ones or Space ones that suddenly came across some rip in the dimension, and that's where the evil's coming out of. That's an idea. I doubt they'd do that, but that's an idea. They couldn't go with the original concept, though, sadly, for Zooger, because of how they did. I really hate to say it this way, too. For how they did Ninja Steel, because they had basically a TV show as Ninja Steel, so that wouldn't work, and Zoogers wouldn't work. Even a basic concept of it wouldn't work. And I did not see Rue Soldier, so I couldn't tell you how that would even pan out in the least. But there's the ideas. You have so many of them to go for. I just am more worried that Hasbro's liable to just look at the ratings, look at the toy sales, and just go, you know what, this isn't worth making anymore. And just leave those 4 completely, to the wind. And it bothers me, I think, more than it should. Because for me, Power Rangers, that is a legitimate part of my childhood. I started watching it when I was 5. I grew up watching the Power Rangers. I loved the series. I took the virtues that Zordon entrusted the Rangers with to heart. Never use your powers for personal gain. Never never escalate a fight unless Rita forces you to, and always keep your identity a secret. And there are ways to include those in everyday life. Don't go looking for a fight. To basically never use your powers for personal gain. Don't go about using like your special skills to make yourself seem more important than other people. Don't escalate a fight. Don't go looking for a fight unless you're forced to. Don't go around picking a fight with somebody just because you feel like you have the power to. And keep your identity a secret. And the only way that would work out is just help somebody and don't let them know that you're the one helping them. Keep it anonymous. Keep your identity a secret. Those are the virtues that Zordon basically entitled to the original 5 Rangers. And in all honesty, those same virtues have at this point been lost amongst the other Rangers, but at the same time, it's something that the Power Rangers still have. I mean, they always will protect people. They will always fight the forces of evil. And people and kids do need some glimmer of hope. And I think what bothers me the most is that if Power Rangers just up and ends, because Hasbro decides, hey, we're done, the show sucks, we can't make any money off of it, and they just let it die, they're basically taking the last bit of hope away that you're ever going to have. It is the last bit of hope. They basically, at that point, will have opened up Pandora's box and just finished this off. Without hope, you have nothing, and Power Rangers will always give hope. I mean, they literally will take on whatever comes their way, and they will do everything in their power to defend it, to try to stop it and save the world. Even if they are beaten down, their Zords are destroyed, they will never give up. And those are the virtues that would inspire people nowadays. But if it just ends abruptly and just doesn't get like the last bits that could have like a decent story to it, that could teach a lesson while at the same time really integrating how wonderful the show is and integrating how you can do good things in life. If they cancel the show before it could ever do that, I think so many people would be missing out on a massive opportunity. I really do. But then again, that's just my opinion. And I'm kind of curious what you think. What do you think the future holds for Power Rangers? Do you think it has a chance to flourish and survive for at least another 5-6 years? Or do you think its time is near, it's drawing near? And, it's just soon reaching the end of the morphing grid. Let me know what your thoughts are in the comment section below. And until next time, I'm Andrew Rhodes, and this has been Andrew Discusses.